Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where we interview women executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
And you're listening to the Well Woman Show,
where motivated women achieve fulfillment and well-being.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
Take time for myself by coming to things like Well Woman Drinks.
To be accepting of myself no matter what. Step away from judgment as much as possible.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're going to be in for a good ride. I don't regret anything. Everything I've ever done, I've learned from it, one way or another, good or bad.
Being a little bit selfish for yourself, put your own oxygen mask on first and then give what's left.
I'm a woman. I would prefer to tell my own story. My story, though it's very personal, is universal.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show. And now your host, Giovanna Rossi.
Hi, Giovanna Rossi here, and welcome to another episode of The Well Woman Show, where I interview women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs about their lives and their road to becoming and being who they are today. Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed with your responsibilities, and it seems like you'll never get it all done? Well, you're not alone. We all need to remember to use our superpowers, the ones we already have but don't use all the time, and take advice and wisdom from one another. Towards the end of the show, in a segment called Superpowers for Success, I ask my guest about her superpowers, and the answers will give you the strength, perspective, and power to keep on being the well woman you are. I'm so happy you're here, so thanks for tuning in. Today's topic is relationship building for success, and hopefully by the end of this show, you'll be inspired to reach out to the entrepreneurial community for support, use structure and social media to spread your ideas and gain a following, and hopefully this show will be a reminder that you can accomplish your goals in a short amount of time when you have efficient habits and a great support system. My guest today is Micaela Brown, Chief Inspiration Officer and owner of Inspire People Media, a New Mexico-based experiential and lifestyle people, media, marketing, and special events agency. Prior to starting Inspire People Media, Micaela was president of Heritage Productions, LLC, CEO of Target Marketing International, LLC, producer of Santa Fe Foodie Classic, founder of Dîner en Blanc Albuquerque, and producer of Christmas at Hogwarts. Today I speak with Micaela about using networking and support systems to get ahead, problem solving in groups, and recognizing when it's time to take a step back from your business commitments and focus on personal well-being. The free giveaway today is Micaela's 5 tips for a great event. I love these tips because they draw on insights from Micaela's most successful events to help you get started with any event you may be planning. Now to my interview with Micaela Brown. I'm speaking with Micaela Brown this afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
It's great to have you. Tell me what you're working on. I know it's a lot. In the preamble here, I've been hearing about all the stuff you're up to. But tell me specifically what you're working on, and through the lens of women's health and wellness, which is what this show's topic is, how are you impacting women's lives?
I created a group called League of Extraordinary Women, and within this group, I've pulled together some of the top women across multiple industries in Albuquerque. And the one requirement in this group is that each of us has to be willing to throw down for the other. Whatever they need, we're willing to help out with our Rolodexes, with advice, with information and resources. That's it. And we've been meeting now since August, and it's pretty inspiring to see what just individuals are capable of doing and what they're willing to do for one another once they're given the opportunity to do so. So I'm working with a group of about 30. There's about 30 of us in this group. And we're all helping each other succeed within each of our different ventures, from pharmacy to architecture to social media and digital production to banking. Each one of us has something different that we bring to the table, and nonprofits as well. So I have that on one side. And then on the other side of things, I'm doing some consulting as well and assisting specifically women, but any entrepreneur who needs my help, I'm happy to help. If you're a friend of mine, I'm more than happy to set up an hour and a half or so and just sketch out and whiteboard some ideas on how to launch your idea and how to get it to market in a way that is streamlined and it's organic and it's almost completely free. And it's just using what already exists in the marketplace, using social media tools, digital tools, SEO tools, And it's amazing how much is out there, and people just haven't found a way to accumulate it in one spot and be able to use those tools immediately. They think they have to go to school for this or get a degree in something. No, just launch. Get over yourself. Launch.
Just do it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. And so on the women's group, you organized that. Was that because that was something you needed?
It was. Albuquerque, it's a relationship-based economy, and I'm new to New Mexico. And I realized that I needed a core group of people that I could bounce ideas off that would be honest to me and tell me the truth. And then also be able to tell me what exists in the market and what doesn't, and what things they need help with, and things that they wished existed in this market. And then it grew into, instead of just me and these group of women helping me, it was how we could support each other. And so pretty quickly, I mean, after 1 or 2 meetings, and it's super informal, let's do a happy hour, let's do a brunch. And we're always supporting local-owned businesses as well when we do these things. So I try to pick something new each month, a different day of the week, a different time, so that we can constantly be able to figure out someone new can fit this into their schedule. But after the second meeting or so, it quickly became not just a group of my friends, but we all became a group of friends ourselves. And each one are now helping the others in ways offline that I couldn't even envision.
Oh, that's great. New best friends and all kinds of relationships blooming there.
It's those collisions, those entrepreneurial collisions and thought patterns that if you don't challenge the way you think, you won't consider something new or different. And it takes a different type of mind to solve a problem than the one who created it, right? So if you have this group of women and every single one is an expert in a different field and a different way of thinking, suddenly you have so much more opportunity to grow.
So Micaela, describe a time in your life when you weren't putting yourself first. When you weren't taking care of yourself the way you maybe know now that you need to, or maybe you don't know now. I don't know if it's still a challenge for you.
It is still a challenge. I mean, I'm a startup. I own a startup and I'm an entrepreneur. So my whole life revolves around my work. Over the past year and a half, I'm going to be brutally honest. Over the past year and a half, my body has just told me, you are awful. You spend so much time and attention on your business. You've got to spend at least a little bit on your health. Otherwise, you cannot manage your business. So
how are you getting that message?
Oh, okay. So I dislocated my back twice. I got a staph infection for 2 months. I slipped a disc in my jaw. This year, that was all last year. This year, I have 2 sprains, 1 tear in my jaw. You can hear that I'm sick today. A month and a half ago, I had bronchitis. So I'm not very good at taking care of myself, but that is a common trait amongst entrepreneurs. We're not very good at that. Yeah. However, this show is very fortuitous because I have made a very conscious decision that I need to learn that my business does not have to occupy every single moment of my time. That I can set the phone and the computer down and I can take a walk, or I can do something for myself and not feel that it's selfish that my business needs all of it. I am single with a Chihuahua, so I don't have other responsibilities other than my business and my concepts, but I recognize that it's desperately important, especially after all these crazy things.
You've had some pretty loud messages from your body telling you, hey, Micaela, it's about time you take care of me now. Mm-hmm. And that's so important. And as women, we're juggling a lot of different things. You've got your business. You're caring for your dog. I mean, that's a responsibility. But we often don't prioritize our own care. Mm-hmm. But when we don't, we can't be there for all the things that we want to do. We can't be putting out these creative products out into the world and being the person that we want to be. So it's almost like really reeling that in and getting back to basics with your health and wellness. Mm-hmm. And you're sort of saying that you're at the point where you're recommitting to that and making that happen.
Absolutely. With the launch of this new business, it's the busiest I've ever been, but the healthiest emotional and mental space I've ever been. the confidence behind that is changing the entirety of everything that I do. And that's also telling me that I can step away. I can go on a weekend to see my family in Texas, and my business isn't going to fall apart.
Right.
There is no life or death here.
So where do you think that confidence came from? Because you're saying that this is a new feeling that you're having with your new business. Why do you think this is happening now for you?
I hope this doesn't sound too strange, but when I was younger, I kept thinking, I don't know enough, I don't know enough, I don't know enough. I'm almost 36, and I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm old enough now that I know enough of the past, and I'm young enough that I know enough about what's coming up in the future to be in the right space at the right time to launch new innovative concepts that are able to learn from past mistakes and historical institutional memory and knowledge, and be able to use those in a way that haven't been used before.
And it's sort of like this gut feeling. You just know that.
I know. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. I know how to launch these products. And each day I'm coming up with a brand new concept. The only struggle I'm having now is with this wellness concept is I have to tell myself no, and I'm not good at that. Everything is a yes, I can. Yes, I can. And now it's yes, I can next year.
Yeah.
Because I've got 5 things that I'm launching this year, plus some other consulting things.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just a little bit that you were telling me about before we started recording, it sounds like a lot. And I actually first went to an event that you produced. It was the Dinner en Blanc event in New Mexico, and it was truly an amazing event. So you caught my eye then. And it sounds like you've just continued to do really large-scale events. And what else are you doing, though, besides events? I know you're not just an event planner.
No. So I'm not really good at being hired to do an event. I like to come up with my own idea, trademark it, and build it out and leverage it in a way that celebrates New Mexico in a way that New Mexico hasn't been celebrated. And that's how I get national and international attention on these concepts. So I have those events, and I have a pipeline of about 18 event concepts that I'm looking at producing. Now, the timeline for that, I have to develop capacity, and I have to see how much I can do and how deep do I need to hire, or do I contract? I still have to figure those things out. Then on the other side of things, within my business, I kind of have these 4 quadrants. One is social media. I've taught myself social media. I'm pretty good at it now. All of my events have sold out, mostly using social media, and then some traditional marketing as well. Then I do product launches, and I do consulting on entrepreneurship, launching products, taking a concept from idea all the way to market, how to get it to sell as soon as possible, how to get to revenue. And then my events, of course. So I have those 4 things that I'm working on. So I do some consulting for some nonprofits and some local startups as well. I'm really passionate about economic impact, cultural preservation, and community engagement. So those 3 things have to be involved in any project that I do, or I'm not interested. And that also relates to my events.
Okay. And in order to do all of that you just described, which is mind-boggling to think about doing all of that, in order to do all of that, you have to be extremely organized and probably pretty good at delegating and building teams. Where would you say you are on that at this point?
Well, so I've had both. I've been in the startup space where brand spanking new, you've got to just crank it out and bootstrap yourself and get the company up and running. And then I've also been at the position where I was running a large team. Right now, I'm in the bootstrap. I build every single website. I do all the graphic design. I do all the logos. I do all of the conceptualizations. I do all of the tech integrations. I figure out which apps to integrate into what. I figure out who needs to be a part of it and which local community partners can I leverage, and how can I showcase them in a way that takes things to the next level. I do all the PR and the marketing. I run about 7 Facebook accounts, 5 Instagram accounts, 8 Twitter accounts, 3 LinkedIn, 6 websites, and it's growing.
And that's just for your company.
Correct.
For the concepts in your company.
Correct. And then I do some consulting on the side too. So government, I used to be government. Government taught me incredible project management. So essentially running through my brain at any moment of the day is an Excel spreadsheet. I can tell you exactly where I am in every single project, every timeline, every deliverable. It's all in my brain. So because I'm a startup and because I'm bootstrapping, I don't have anyone to delegate to right now. So everything that you see is me. Everything. Every website, every social media account, everything. That will change as soon as I'm a month and a half into this company, and it's doing quite well, knock on wood. But capacity building is crucial because this is not a pace that one can maintain for a long period of time.
Yeah, and your body is not going to take it, as you've been saying. So in order to be able to scale and grow and do all of this that you need to do, or that you're doing with your company, you're going to be building a team and doing all of that.
It's also figuring out who you need, right? Because if you get the wrong person, then it's, yeah,
it's really hard. I mean, hiring and building a team is actually really challenging, especially if you're small, because your resources are so tight. You have this amount of money to spend on someone, and if it doesn't work, it really puts you behind.
I think one of the other mistakes that startups make is that they hire before they're ready. And in a startup, what's really fun about the startup space is that you learn how much you're capable of, and you learn you can do anything. Whether or not you have the time for it is a whole nother can of worms. But knowing that you can do everything, it gives you that confidence to be able to say, all right, I will wait for the right person and I'll figure out exactly what I need, and then I'll bring in that element when I need it and not before. And that's something that's happened in my life too. You meet a lot of people and then you kind of hold on to their contact details and you say, that person would be really great in this capacity. And then you hold on to that, and then a couple of years later, when you're ready for that capacity, you're able to pull out that card and say, all right, I'm ready for you now.
Yeah, and hopefully they're available.
Well, hopefully.
But if the connection is there, then there's usually something you can do with that kind of partnership. Well, Micaela, we're moving into a segment called Superpowers for Success. And so I want to ask you a couple of, these are sort of quicker round questions. The first one is, what does success in life mean to you?
Success in life means that all of my student loans are paid off, and I have money in the bank, and I'm able to hire someone full-time with benefits. To me, that is success.
And what about personally? I mean, I guess that is personal, but that's more about your business.
It is. But that's also the challenge of being a startup and an entrepreneur. Your whole world is your business. It's very difficult to say, I'm a person and I'm not my business. You're so intertwined. So
that's the first step that you maybe need to focus on for your wellness.
That I'm not my business?
Here, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It will be nice to be able to have, that's one, that my business can sustain itself without me.
Yeah, imagine that.
So that'd be personal and professional in the same go. All right, that's success to me.
What would you do with your time if you didn't have to be running your business?
This. The things that I do for my business are what I do for fun.
Okay.
Growth hacking and creating concepts and building out things, and I just love it.
You live and breathe your work.
Yeah, but these are not the things that I went to school for, and it is not the career that I spent the past 10 years developing. These are my hobbies. All of these things are my hobbies that just turned into something more. So these are the things that I would be doing. I was international trade for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, that's right.
So to go into this, social media, no, these are the things that I do for fun. I would travel more. I would definitely travel more. I used to live abroad. I was 7.5 years in Europe and 4 years in Panama. And I'm getting to where I absolutely have to go back abroad again. But next year I'll be going back to the UK. So hopefully I'll get my fix then.
Nice.
I was just in Dublin last November.
Oh, fun. Okay, so take us to that moment when you realized that you are really good at what you do. Was there a moment where you were like, oh, I kind of got this. I'm kind of awesome at this event thing.
The first running of the Chihuahuas was absolutely terrifying because this is a last-minute market. I didn't know how many tickets were going to sell. I had maybe 50 tickets sold day of. And then 2,000 people showed up day of. So that event, I had only given myself 1 month of marketing, and I knew nobody in New Mexico. I was brand new. So my marketing strategies had to be completely out of the box, how to get in front of the most amount of people as possible, and how to reach that target demo and define it so narrowly that I hit them all in one go. That was terrifying, especially since it was just me and my credit card, and I had nothing else.
So when you saw the 2,000 people there and the whole event came off, you thought, okay, I got this.
That's when I looked around and went, I think I know how to do this. And then immediately after that, I won the trademark for Dîner en Blanc. And then when that one was rough because I couldn't tell anybody what it was, where it was. New Mexico had never seen it before, so I had to educate them, market it, sell the tickets, get people excited, throw some teasers with a month and a half of marketing.
Now you're talking about the Dîner en Blanc, which is the international event that is like everybody dresses in white and goes to dinner. I actually went to the first one here and the second one, I think. But just so our listeners know what you're talking about, you brought that to Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Mm-hmm. I got the trademark for that. We were one of 19 cities in the U.S. to have Dîner en Blanc, and we beat Austin, we beat Seattle, and we beat Denver. So when that one went and we had 800 people show up to that event, year one, and then I got permission to do Harry Potter, and we did Christmas at Hogwarts. And when I had adults and children cry, one adult fainted. But that was, yeah. That's when I realized, all right, I think I got this. Both the event marketing and the event production side.
Yeah, definitely. And the social media, it sounds like. So, Micaela, what superpower did you discover you had only to realize it was there all the time?
I thought that I needed so many people in order to do these things. I had to have a social media expert. I had to have the website expert. I had to have the event planner. I had to have all these different pieces. And then I realized that I could do it all. I just had to trust that I could. And once I let myself believe that I could, I was able to. Sure, I had to teach myself. There was a learning curve, but the amount of things that we're able to teach ourselves and we're able to learn, it still blows my mind. Every day I'm learning so many new things, and I appreciate that about entrepreneurship so much because we're constantly growing, we're constantly expanding, and we're constantly engaging our minds in ways that we never thought possible.
And what do you do when you get knocked down? Because as an entrepreneur, as a woman business owner, or a woman working with other partners and collaborators, it is hard.
Very.
And there are some roadblocks, and you have to have some resilience in order to get past those and move on and create what you've created. So what do you do when you get knocked down?
There's a quote that I posted on my Instagram that says, you're allowed 5 minutes to cry, and then you got to be gangster. You do. You can allow yourself to get down, and you can allow yourself to feel whatever emotions you need to process. But then you've got to stand yourself back up and say, no matter what is thrown at me, I'll figure a way out. I'll figure a way around it. And that's
what if the blow is so hard that it really hits your confidence and you think, I just can't do this? I mean, how do you internalize that? I mean, I love the advice, give yourself 5 minutes and then get back up. But how do you actually do that?
I had a pretty traumatic business experience happen in February where I had to start from scratch and start completely over for about a month. It took me a month to determine where I was going to go, what I was going to do, and how I was going to reinvent or repackage. How was I going to package my skill set in a way that made sense and was relevant? Sometimes it takes time to get through to a point where you can walk away with something tangible. It's okay to take that time. I don't think that anyone should rush anything that they're going through in their life. However, that said, the things that are blocking you, it's imperative to look at them and say, what are they? Is it a physical? Is it emotional? Is it a mental? All right. Is there anything I can do about them? Yes, no. Yes, do something. No? All right. Try again tomorrow. Same thing. Is there anything I can do about it today? Yes, no. Yes, do it.
You're very practical.
I'm a July baby, so I'm very emotional. However, when it comes to moving through what life throws at you and processing that in a way that you're able to take action, I'm extremely action-oriented. For myself, if I'm not moving forward, I'm in a hole, depressed somewhere. I always have to have something that I'm working for, some sort of a goal, some sort of a plan, a mission. What is it that I'm fighting for? What is my mission statement? What is it that I'm valuing? And if it takes me a month to get to that point where I know those things and say, all right, here's how this is my next step, then fine, it'll take me a month. But once that month is over, I know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go full force towards that. That doesn't mean that I'm not open to where that path might lead me, because new doors might open in new directions. But it takes that first step to get you out of that place where you think that nothing good can happen again to you.
Yeah, it's like you have to revisit your mission and your values and that personal mission that you have in order to pull yourself out of that sometimes. And that, I think, if people remember that, what they're really working for, they can pull themselves out of those really dark times and take action, like you're saying. And lastly, Micaela, what advice would you give your younger self?
I took everything way too seriously when I was younger. And I thought that I had to have all the answers immediately. And I stressed myself out trying to figure things out when I didn't need to. And I remember bouncing around. My family was military, so I moved a lot, and I was constantly traveling and picking up new experiences. And an older school way of thinking is you have to stick with something for 5 years, and then you can move on. Well, now we have so much access to information that a year is perfectly fine. 6 months is perfectly fine. You learn those skills, you move on to the next, and you just keep going, keep building that expertise. Now I'm able to look back and say, holy crud monkey, everything that I've worked through my whole life, all those jobs, all those experiences have led me to where I am right now, and I'm able to leverage those.
Yeah, and leverage those experiences.
But I was so stressed out as a kid. And in my 20s, I need to know this now. And I didn't.
But the fact that you thought you needed to know those things motivated you to find the answers and take action. And that led you to who you are today.
Fair.
As well.
Fair. Thank you for that.
Micaela, it's been such a pleasure talking to you this afternoon.
Thank you. You're so kind.
That's it for our show today. I've been speaking with Micaela Brown, founder of Inspire People Media and producer of the Santa Fe Foodie Classic, founder of Dîner en Blanc Albuquerque, and producer of Christmas at Hogwarts. I spoke with Micaela about starting a business from scratch, using collective minds to find better solutions, and her own personal struggles with balancing business and well-being. You can get Micaela's 5 tips for a great event at wellwomanlife.com/024show. Our monthly live event, Well Woman Drinks, brings together women to share our successes and challenges as leaders, moms, aunts, sisters, and all the other roles we carry. If you'd like to attend a Well Woman Drinks near you, or if there isn't one in your city yet and you'd like to start one, email me at info@wellwomanlife.com. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment and subscribe in iTunes. And while you're there, leave a review. This helps raise visibility for the show, which is super helpful when it comes to producing the show every week for you. You can also continue the conversation in the Well Woman Life community group at facebook.com/groups/Well Woman Life community. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening today, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Well Woman Life. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.